earning potential. This is one of those things that men are delusional about. It is something that you should know, just like your credit score. Very simple. You should know what your credit score is. You should know how much you're going to retire with. You should know what the equity in your house is going to be and the principal you've paid off by the time you retire, and how much you can cash flow that property. You should know what your investments are going to be within reason. These are things that you should know, your earning potential. Some guys will be like, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to create an empire. It's like, bro, you're a teacher. You're a civil servant. You're a military member. You're this, you're that. It's like there is potential. And if you're 35 years old, if you're in your 30s, mid 30s and 40s, your potential is most likely capped within reason. There's a probability of breakout, but that probability gets smaller and smaller the older that you get. And that's where the delusion comes in. If a dude is about to retire or in his mid 30s and he's like, oh man, I'm going to be a millionaire. And it's like, what do you have? And if he is unsure, like ask simple questions. Just like I said, you know what your credit score is. How much is your retirement going to be when you retire? And you can tell that a lot of these guys are delusional in thinking that at any point in your life, you can make this decision to become a millionaire or to become rich or to become successful. These are things for most people, 90% of people, it's a constant long-term game. There's those people that have that 10% where they can break out and become better, way better than most people. 100%, I understand that. But for the majority of people, you should know what that potential is going to be or what potential you have reached. So when you're younger and you're going into school and it's like, okay, I've graduated high school. I'm going to go to college. Why? And if you don't know that answer right there, maybe you should hold off and understand how the world works. Get a normal job. Get a job that is actually hardworking, or find somebody in an industry that excites you. But what I'm trying to say is that potential, it gets smaller and smaller. So when you're younger, understand what you're getting into. College is great for certain things. If you're going to college to be a teacher, like you should know what that potential is going to be. What I'm talking about, potential. What's your possible earnings going to be? What kind of lifestyle are you going to live? See, for those that are already in where they're at, figure out what that potential is. And you have to weigh what's important to you. Because if you're like mid 30s and say you're single, it's like the only thing I have to do is put in hard work, get a second job, get a third job. My potential can blow up because you understand what your goal is, what you want that potential to turn into. But there's some of us, like myself, what I call civil servants, these people, these firefighters, these cops, these military members, you are basically pigeonholed into your career because you're doing it more for duty. But those people have to be more cautious, like myself. Like if I didn't put myself in the positions that I'm in now, I would be like 80% of the people that get out of whatever civil servant job they're in, and they're like, oh, my pension, I can ride on my pension. And it's a lie. It's 100% lie. That's why at the end, all those guys, what are they trying to do? What are they trying to do? Look at your old guys. They're looking for disability because that's another paycheck on top of it. Because most of them have wasted their potential because they just thought, because we are sold a dream that, just try your hardest, advance, and you'll be all right. And with that, you can lose everything. What's important to you? Like for me, what's more important for me is my family, 100%. So that's where I'm spending most of my career. I'm looking at how can I do better for my family? And I've had to take sacrifices in my career for my family, but I would gladly do that. And I'm okay because I knew that. I was told from my mentors, because everyone should have mentors, and no matter what you do. And they're like, the decision that you're about to make, it will affect your career. And I explained to them that my family is more important. Like my relationship with my wife and keeping my kids and seeing my kids grow up is more important to me. And I had long discussions with people about this. And they're like, you're right. And many of them were like, yeah, I've been divorced twice. I didn't get to see my kids grow up. And for me, that's what's more important for me. But they gave me good advice. Like, don't do what I did. Focus on what can help you in the future financially outside of your career. And that's what everyone should do. That's why getting skin in the game, getting some kind of investment, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's the stock market or buying a house or buying land or whatever, but understand what the potential is. It's like, if I buy this piece of property, what is it going to be worth in 10 years and 20 years? Like, is it worth it? And how is it going to affect me? But most people, they don't worry about that potential. And they're just like, you know what? I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to make it one day. And it's like, you are delusional. Just like the woman that never changes. And she's like, I'm a boss girl. My man will come to me one day. Guys are just as delusional. It's like, I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. I'm going to become a millionaire one day. It's like, you have nothing, and your potential is leaving you as you speak. So that potential, you need to figure out what your potential is right now. And simple things you can start with is credit score. Like, figure out what your credit score is, fix your credit. Next thing is your budget. Get a budget down, and you can find out where your money is slipping, because everybody's money is slipping. If you don't understand about anything about investing, that means your money is not going in the right spot. If you spend your paycheck every month like everybody does, and you have nothing left, that means you are wrong and you are doing the wrong things, because we are told that we are entitled to certain things in life, and you're entitled to nothing. You're entitled to the decisions that you make, and you will suffer or reap the rewards of the decisions that you make. But it all goes to your potential. Every 18-year-old has more potential than anybody, because you could make the right decisions from day one and be all right. I always like to tell everybody that, especially military members. I love telling them that, especially if they're like high up and they've sacrificed their families, they don't see their children, and they have nothing to their name, but that they're that high rank. It's like, bro, you would have been better off if you had parents that loved you, that allowed you to stay with them, and you just help around the house and you were a good son. If you stayed working at McDonald's for 10 years, think about it. Your potential, it's very, very small, right? Working at McDonald's. Maybe you become a manager. At best, you become like, you own your own store, but that's like crazy. Let's say your potential's lower, that you wanted less. You just wanted to chill, but you understand how the world worked, and 10 years you stayed with your parents. You didn't pay any rents because they love you. You didn't pay for any food. Your mom cooked you food the whole time because she loved you, and you invested everything into the S&P 500. In 10 years, you become a manager and you invest everything. Think about that. That's crazy. And you, at that point, you could buy a house. Maybe you could buy 2 houses, and then you can move out of your parents' house, rent one of the houses, and still do the same thing. Keep on investing, still work at McDonald's, and be better than 90% of the people in the US working at McDonald's. If you have parents that love you, of course. If you don't have parents that love you, then you know what? You could still do the same thing, but it would take you longer. The point being is, most people don't understand what their potential is right now. Most of you watching this, you don't know all of the things that I said. Your retirement, what your investments are going to be like, how much money you could invest right now because you don't have a budget. You don't know what your potential is, and the younger guys are going into things thinking that their potential is going to be higher in what they are choosing to go into. So a lot of us are delusional in what your potential is. Lastly, like myself, I like to say I'm a hardworking person, but I have to understand that I have potential as well. And what's nice for a person like me that had very good people in my life and that taught me to do things that helped me in my life to become the person I am and be in the financial state that I am right now. But even myself, I have to be like, you know what? All of this extra stuff I'm doing is wasted energy. But something that I can do is I can enjoy my life right now. And that right there is amazing. I can spend time with my kids. I don't have to worry about stuff, and I can just live in my life and be happy with what I've done with my potential because I've made the right decisions. And there's so many people out there that wouldn't be doing what they're doing right now if they knew what their potential was and they did things in an easier way, and they focused on the right things to live up to their potential, whatever you want that potential to be. Because let's face it, if you wanted to be a multimillionaire and become super powerful in whatever industry that you're in, you wouldn't do some things. But if you make the decisions that you made because that's what you wanted in life, understand what that potential is, reach that potential, and then get to the point where you are happy with where you are.